Okay, we're going to start this out with a review of our macromolecules. Remember, there are four main groups. They all contain carbon, so we say they're organic. And remember that macromolecules, another word for those are polymers, poly meaning many, mono meaning one. And so all of our different groups are made up of single subunits or single building blocks that are attached together to make a long chain. We can attach them or put them together through a process called dehydration synthesis. By removing a water, we can connect our monomers to make a polymer. Okay, the opposite is also true. We can take them apart through a process called hydrolysis, hydro meaning water, lysis meaning to cut, and we can actually break down these bonds and go from a long polymer to single subunits or monomers. So let's look at our four groups. Our first group are carbohydrates. Their building blocks are monosaccharides. Here's a picture. They're important for support and short-term energy storage. So we see cellulose, which is the fiber in our diets. It makes up the cell walls of plants. Starch, which is how plants store energy. Animals store energy through glycogen. And then lots of sugars. If you notice, they have OSE at the end. So table sugar is sucrose. We have glucose. We have milk sugar, which is lactose. There's also fructose. So a lot of times if you see OSE at the end, that tells you that we're talking about a sugar. Lipids. Lipids are things like fats and oils, phospholipids, steroids, and waxes. They provide long-term energy storage. They give us waterproof covering like we saw on the cuticles of leaves. They help with insulation, again, back to hibernation and keeping animals warm. And they also make up cell membranes. They have two building blocks, glycerols and fatty acids. And that's one way you can remember this picture. This is a triglyceride. And if you notice, it's the biggest of all the different pictures. So this would be an example of a lipid. Proteins have building blocks called amino acids. There are 20 different amino acids. So like we have 26 letters in the alphabet, by putting these different amino acids in different orders, we have different proteins, and all the proteins use these same 20 amino acids. So it doesn't matter what kind of organism we're talking about. So just like in English, no matter what word we want to come up with, we put those letters in different orders, and they give us different words, sentences, meanings, books, plays, anything that we're reading. Same thing with proteins. We just put amino acids in different orders, and that's that sequence that determines its function. Here's a picture of the building block of proteins, the amino acids. They help with structure, support. They help speed up chemical reactions. We looked at enzymes already in a lot of detail. And they help with transport and movement. So actin and myosin are two proteins that help with muscles. Keratin, that's what gives your hair its strength. It's a protein in hair and nails. Antibodies help you fight off infections. Hormones help give signals to different parts of the body. And then, as we talked about before, enzymes help with speeding up chemical reactions. And here's 3 food items that actually help you with getting protein in your diet. The last group are the nucleic acids, and hopefully these are the easiest to remember because there's the fewest of them. And that word Na, or the letters Na in nucleic acid, is where DNA and RNA actually get their name from. So this is deoxyribonucleic acid. This is ribonucleic acid. ATP also falls into this group. They're responsible for carrying genetic information, controlling cell activities, and instructions for protein synthesis. This is a building block, This is a building block here. These are the nucleotides that build up or make up, DNA and RNA. And then again, their building blocks are nucleotides. We can look at all of the building blocks together and all of the pictures to compare them. And we can also compare their functions and examples. I hope this helped with reviewing. The last thing I want to review with you is enzymes. Remember that enzymes help to speed up chemical reactions, and basically they can be used to either take something and break it down or take something and put it together. We call the enzyme the actual thing that's being worked on. Remember, it's very specific for each substrate, and the enzyme is not changed as a result of this. And remember also that the place where the enzyme and substrate come together is called the